So we're at the northern end of the arboretum, and this is a large flame tree, Flamboyant, Dolonex regia, common in the tropics. There was some excavation on the downhill side of it when they built a drainage pond, lost some roots, and the branches tended to sprawl toward the south, imbalance, loss of support, falling over. The next tree over, its roots were not damaged so much, and it only lost some central stems that can be repaired. This one is quite some beautiful wood. It's rare to have an intact tree of this species, of this size, that's not decayed or otherwise marred. So we're going to salvage all the lumber that we can out of this, and also salvage a lesson learned that if there's a loss of support on one side of the tree and a sprawl on the opposite side of the tree, some proactive measures pruning the tree back might keep specimens like this vertical in the next storm. Now here's a big tree that snapped over, a large root broke and was shredded. So I'm trying to cut off the shredded portion and get some better closure that way. That's a little cleaner anyway. Where these roots are stretched out, we're going to be adding soil, and then we'll look at the rest of the tree and see some different strategies. So the question is what to do with these stumps. There's hundreds of trees that lifted out of the ground, and this is what's left. The staff here thinks this is kind of a work of art. Certainly it's lovely colored wood there, and these branches are growing as roots are growing as roots are supposed to. That is radiating away from the trunk. So all of the nursery grown trees that we've seen lift out have roots growing around the trunk. So this will be a nice phenomenon to interpret. Also, the wood that's fallen will be going to different uses for artisans. This diameter is about the right size for a coaster to put a beverage glass on. We also have some sticks that, if the wood is right, we'll be looking to be selling some walking sticks from Doña Inés Arboretum in order to help raise funds for the continuing restoration of this beautiful botanical treasure. So this tree's leaning over quite a bit, but there are enough roots attached to the ground to where we think it has a good prognosis for remaining. What we did was cut some branches into props so we could prop up some of these leaning branches here. That one. And over here, like this one, holding them up so that we know people can walk under and be safe. Seeing a lot of response growth that's going to come and create a solid green archway up here. And then to add to the support even more, where I pressed this branch into the ground, covered it with compost, and then we'll look for some heavy wood to put on top of it so that the branch can turn into roots. La Rama Racias, from branch to roots. And by forcing these trees to layer, we can make them more stable and vital, and I hope interesting. So this root ball here is almost 20 feet high and wide. A double trunk tree that fell to the south as a result of Hurricane Maria. It's quite heavy wood and quite a large tree. we walk down, you can see a flat area on the trunk. Kind of an odd feature, I think. And the reason for that may be because the inside heartwood made it twist that way. But the impact of this tree failure was quite severe. If we take a look to the right, we'll see this apartment complex was built here adjacent to the property, and the upper part there took a direct hit. Almost looks like artillery bombardment. So we're viewing from the southern border of the foundation property. That is the museum and former home of Luis Munoz Marin and Doña Inés. Also, there's a grapple truck that's been used to grab up logs and haul them away, put them in a dump truck after this area here has been cleared. This open area was desired to be flat and bared for planting. Also, it's in view of where the weddings take place and might be a new wedding location. So as you can see, Tropical Tree Experts crew left the area cleared for replanting. And the last tree to get is the one over to the right here, with a beautiful red wood to it. So a closer perspective on the tree gives us some better information. Down here we have some roots that are all black and were dead before they were uprooted, and they're pointing in the direction of where the curb was cut up there. So that means that the branches on the tension side down in the water didn't hold, but also these branches on the compression side failed as well. So that's an interesting look at construction damage from underneath. So this waterway was dug as a retention pond here on the north end of the Doña Inés Arboretum. And when it was dug, some roots were broken or shortened, including the one dangling above me. So this whole tree toppled over. A flamboyant, Dolonex regia, flame tree, very common, and this one has a very solid trunk, but it's the root damage and the sprawl that did it in. But here's the way it was holding on to the earth. Still some sinker roots going in like this. This might have been the tap root, the center root, that is withered, and the healthier ones are on the outside. as it goes with older trees. So quite an impressive stump. I think it'll be here for some time. Some of the root ends would make good carvings. So at the bottom of this stump, which was just cut, we can see the heartwood, we'll call it, the center wood, decaying for a long time by the looks of it here, but then it stops abruptly, and there's some very healthy young new wood forming on the inside. This is called compartmentalization, when trees grow around areas where there are wounds or weaknesses or cavities and get very, very strong here. So even though the middle of the tree looked very ugly from above, our view from below shows there was a lot of sound wood holding it up, especially over here. And this piece is especially interesting because right above here we have rot going in for several inches, but it did not penetrate to the bottom of the tree. There's solid wood here where the compartmentalization not only stopped the lateral spread of decay, but the downward spread of decay. All in all, a very successful strategy. Had there been a little more load management up above, this tree would still be standing today. So here's a tree that fell over. We can see that it broke here at above the hollow point. This is long decayed wood where the heartwood rotted out, and the tree's been growing new wood on the inside for some time. It must have been heavily weighted to one side to cause it to fracture. But how does this guide us when we're assessing risk in the future? Do we have to cut down every hollow tree that we see? Or what else is there to look for? Here, there's plenty of wood on the outside, 4 or 5 inches or more, all the way around, a lot more over here. So next we'll take a look at the bottom, see if there's more clues there.